I've been doing a lot of soul searching recently, and I'm always doing a lot of soul searching. Who am I kidding? There's times though where it feels more like heavy's not the right word, but like more deep and ominous and moody. And I've kept seeing this vision of like a bridge. And lately I feel like I have been walking on a bridge from a version of my past self connecting me to a version of my future self. I'm not walking fast. There's a briskness, but it's not hurried, and I'm not meandering either. I'm looking around, I'm taking deep breaths, and I'm noticing the smell of the air, the flowers around me. I'm noticing things. And every now and then I look back, mostly with fondness. Every now and then I have like a shame shiver. Ugh, creep up my spine. Don't we all? I'm focused forward, but my eyes aren't desperately glued there either. I'm more noticing what's going on around me than I am like racing forward, trying to get there. Maybe this is a version of presence. I don't know. Or I'm not stuck peering too long into the past or freaking out about my future. I'm able to see both and yet exist in the here and the now. But yet, there's like a fuzzy, messy feeling lurking within me. And this feeling is yearning for something juicy to sink my teeth into, something that makes me want to like bolt out of bed in the morning, excited to start the day, fearless at what's to come. And in the same breath, this feeling is trying to be more intentional with its time and energy and to sink into moments of peace and appreciate the softness and the stillness. And it's like I feel like there are multiple unnamed identities just floating around inside of me. I often feel like a version of an organized mess. Like I work out consistently, I eat relatively healthy, pretty healthy. I make time for friends and for my husband. I turn my podcast deliverables in on time. Hi Anna, you're welcome. I'm consistent with my voiceover auditions and classes. I've structure around my grad school schedule. Like, I know how to get shit done, so to speak. I know, like, what's required of me to show up and show up well. Yet, I feel so unstructured most days. Any plan I make typically flies out the window due to a rogue audition or trying to manage feeding myself and other adult shit that constantly is always coming up. And my coach, Amy, suggested I start keeping a done list next to my to do list so I can actually see how much I'm doing. Even on days it feels like I haven't accomplished much more than breathing. I'm like, I'm exhausted. I feel like I've been working my ass off. Like, what did I do? And yes, I'm constantly in a stage of unpacking this, why it feels like whenever we're just being, that's not enough. Why it feels like I have to be productive all of the time. But at last, I'm in the midst of a lot of life changes, as I feel like we always are, right? Change is always happening. I honestly feel like that could be the tagline. Life, a series of changes that are mostly uncomfortable, but highly worth it. Just trust. I decided to go to grad school for clinical mental health counseling, and so far I'm absolutely loving it. And I can't wait to see who I become in this process. I knew my type A self would love the structure, and genuinely, I love what I'm learning. And it's also a Christian university, which I did not see on my bingo card. Grad school honestly wasn't on my bingo card, even though I've been very interested in psychology or the thought of moving into the world of counseling for a long time. But I'm a Christian, but the last decade or so, I've ebbed and flowed with how much I actively participate in going to church. I've been more connected to the idea of having a relationship with God and the universe and leaning into my spiritual side. That's kind of what it's felt more like. But I've been surprised at how much I've loved the light Christian elements threaded throughout the program. The word that comes to mind is peace. It forces me to check in with something larger than myself and to have faith that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And this bridge I'm on is taking me to my next destination. I'm still very actively pursuing voiceover, but a client I've had for the last 2.5 years is possibly looking in a new direction. It seems like the door is still cracked open, but it's closed too, kind of, or it's on its way to closing a little bit. And I've been here with clients before and I'll be here again, but I've had to grieve this. I'm actually still grieving this. I've never worked with a client this long before, and it's nice to get to know people and work with them consistently and talk about their kids' dance recitals or their 50th birthday trip through Italy and how their mom's house got broken into, but the robber took weird stuff like old expired nail polish. I will miss working with them so consistently. It was so fun. I was so excited to go into every session. I was challenged and reached many new levels as a performer. And making consistent money in the entertainment industry will always be just chef's kiss. My husband and I are moving into another 6-month winter rental here soon. We've moved so much the last few years. It's definitely added to my wobbliness, I guess. I didn't even fully unpack this past move because I knew soon enough the repacking and unpacking would begin again, and I couldn't do it. I'm so grateful I've gotten to experience so many places I never thought I'd lived. I thought truly I was going to be in LA the rest of my life. I didn't think I'd live in Miami and Virginia Beach and Kansas City and travel the way that I have. But I'm sick of knowing for certain I put my favorite jeans in the gray suitcase only to wonder where in the world they could have gone. And except I'll probably find them 3 months from now because they weren't in the gray suitcase. They were in the purple one, but I didn't open the purple one because I thought it was all summer clothes. Whatever. You get the point. I have a very good memory too. And I constantly recently have been like, I swear I put that thing here. This last move did me dirty, that's for sure. So, back to the point, as I continue down this bridge, it's foggy around me. Not a stifling fog that feels suffocating, like it's going to consume me, but there's definitely some space around me. It kind of feels ethereal, like a very cozy rainy day, but I can't see that far ahead. And once on a webinar, I heard about the cone of clarity, how even if you're driving in fog, there's this cone around your car that allows you to see. You can't see that far, but like if you just keep inching forward, you'll always be able to see the next few inches and then the next few. And you have to go slow, but if you just keep inching forward, before you know it, you will reach your destination despite the fog impairing your vision. It might have been painstakingly slow, but you will eventually arrive. And arriving to me doesn't mean achieving a certain level of success. It means achieving inner clarity for a moment in time. Those moments where you're like, holy shit, I just feel really fucking good right now. Everything seems like it's clicking and I'm just zenned out, fulfilled, and high on it all. It just feels aligned. So on my trek forward lately, I've felt the urge to look back. And as my husband would say, you can look back, just don't stare. But the looking back is taking stock of the things that once were and things that I still want. Things that I want to make sure are waiting for me on the other side of the bridge. I know Los Angeles is not the city that's meant for me right now, but I miss the fullness of my life when I was there, surrounded by artists, seeing people go after their dreams so boldly. I felt like I was so immersed in a land of doing, making, creating, performing, sharing, celebrating. There was so much movement. And yeah, at times it felt chaotic, but it never felt tangled, if you know what I mean. The wires weren't crossed. Everything was moving in harmony, synced together. I miss tapping into a community where so many people are forcing themselves to be seen. I miss being around people who feel like they have everything on the line. I miss the fearlessness of people moving mountains for their dreams. I will be an actor until the day I die. And I'm always bouncing around ideas in my head of when I dip back into the theatrical side of the world, what will that look like? I feel more confident than ever that I can always choose what that means, like what dipping in means and what that looks like, rather than me being swept up in a version of it that I no longer subscribe to. That was for the old version of me, not the new version of me. It wouldn't fit who I am now and where I want to go. But I think this is the force field that's tug of warring on my arms in opposite directions, where it feels like I need to choose one identity rather than accepting the multitudes that exist within me. Maddie, the grad student and one day therapist. Maddie, the actor, writer, voiceover artist, creator. Maddie, the wife, sister, daughter, friend. Maddie, the podcaster. Maddie, the sports lover. Maddie, the good listener and patient person. Maddie, the feisty beast when hungry or someone wrongs someone she loves. Maddie, the performer. Maddie, the shy soul. Maddie with the gift of gab, yet sometimes doesn't trust her voice. Maddie, the lover of learning. Maddie, who just is Maddie. And I recently saw my coach Amy after surviving a very tumultuous week. One of those weeks where it's like so much shit's going wrong. You're like, you know what? Just keep the shitstorm coming because I'm so low already. I already need to rise up from the ashes. Let's just get it all over with in one fell swoop. I am normally a pretty lucky person. I consider myself a lucky person, but damn, that week the book was thrown at me. I was stripped down to the essentials of my personality. I wasn't questioning what words came out of my mouth. My feistiness was at a level 12. And Amy said she was seeing a version of me she loved, and it was a version of me without the frosting. And when she said it, I knew exactly what she meant. The frosting was created to be professional and protect myself, and there are many instances when it's needed. And I'm lucky that I figured out how to frost myself, I guess, so to say. But when it's wiped off and there's only smudges of it left, you see the raw cake underneath. And as I'm saying this, I actually realized my wedding cake was called a naked cake, where it's like the frosting was spread in a way where you can still see peaks of what's underneath. Who knew that was going to be an omen for how I'd be feeling a year later in an era that feels exposing, but like I'm inviting in that energy on purpose, an era of exposing my different identities to myself and trying them all on for size. And this is the bridge I'm walking on currently. And it feels very fluid and not like I don't know, like, not like I'm expecting to reach the other side, but more in certain parts of my walk, the fog will dissipate. Other times it'll come on with a vengeance, but I'll keep walking with my cone of clarity around me, moving with me step by step while holding space for who I've been and who I am and who I'm becoming. So, yeah, I don't really know what the antithesis of all of this was, but it's been something that's been on my mind and on my heart. And yeah, as always, I'm rooting for myself and I'm rooting for you today and always. Love you guys. You're the real hero if you've made it this far. Thanks so much for hanging out today, and check out the show notes for any resources or cool info mentioned in today's episode or places to follow along if you want to hang out some more. I'm rooting for you today and always. Stay messy.